Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Good afternoon, my beautiful coffee club. We are about to get into the Sebastian Rogers case. Many of you guys have been waiting for quite a long time for us to plug in Seth's interviews, and we have.
Set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Well, hello, my beautiful coffee clubbers. Come on in, sit on down. We got a lot to go over.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
don't know why I have to do that. I feel like it's like, just let you guys know I'm back here. I'm back here. I know you guys just can't get enough Betty today. You guys can't just get enough Betty today. Well, we had such a long live this morning that I figured that most of the people wouldn't even get to the Sebastian Rogers stuff if they were on the free play crew. So I ultimately pulled that hour and a half of the show out and put it on its own video. So I'm glad a lot of people were able to come back and actually watch the Sebastian Rogers portion of our video. It was very interesting. It was very enlightening this morning. I think anybody that was here this morning will tell you it was very enlightening. I didn't kind of expect that portion of the case, to go the way it did, but we kind of had a question and we posed it in ChatGPT, and then all of a sudden it takes us down the rabbit hole, and then Sandy comes in here and she wants to know some information about the dogs, and we just start working the AI to see what all can be produced off of the hypotheticals. We didn't plug in who the case was or anything. We just plugged in the details, like, a 3-hour conversation saying you're talking to your husband, sleeping, while, hearing a thud. All the questions that we've had for, quite some time, if you will, about this case that have always caused us a little bit of a gray area. Like, what is really going on? Are they being truthful? Because it was very enlightening when we started breaking down the interviews of Chris and Katie. If you guys are unfamiliar with this case, I'm Bullhorn Betty. We're covering the case of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. He disappeared from his home, from inside his locked home with his own mother. However, she woke up, he's gone. Nobody knows anything about him. So how this kind of case goes, as many of you know, is Sebastian was reported missing on February 26th. It's the position of this channel that he disappeared on February 25th, the evening of February 25th, around the time that Katie called Christopher Proudfoot at 9:43. And so we have gone back and forth over this 3-hour or 2-hour, 2.5-hour phone call between Chris and Katie at such a late time in the evening. And it was just really out of the blue. And I want to make sure people understand that we've had enough big rig drivers, enough people that have, families where a significant other has to travel for work and isn't home. And so, we've leaned on them a little bit in kind of explaining what could happen, and if this is true. And many, especially our big rig drivers, the ones that go cross country, it is common for them to stay on the phone with their family members for several hours in the evening. And so I want to make sure that I put that caveat here, that we're not disputing that, it would be normal and customary, one, to have long conversations with your distant significant other, especially if there's some distance between you guys. But is it appropriate and is it a common occurrence in that household at that time? And my answer is an assessment. It's an opinion. And my opinion is that it doesn't typically happen. And the reason why I say that is because Chris and Katie, through multiple interviews, have identified how their dynamic is. And it sounds like typically they eat dinner, and this is when they're on the phone for the hours. As they're preparing dinner, as they're sitting down for dinner, they're on the phone with each other while Katie and Sebastian are at the dinner table so they can try to have a family meal. Now, we know that does not happen at almost 10 o'clock at night. So this whole detail about Chris and Katie being on the phone at 9:43, which I do believe Katie did call him because Chris wanted to make this crystal clear, and that tells me that law enforcement had already acknowledged it, and Chris, being the manipulator that he is and the great liar that he is, he would have known he would not want to be caught later down the road with that being something that's learned by the public. So he wanted to get ahead of it. So he preemptively, without anybody asking him, preemptively talked about this very lengthy phone call. And this was on the Dutch's interview. And again, this was over a week, maybe 2 weeks. I think it's a week, within the week, like 8 days of this child missing, Sebastian Rogers missing. And we learned that there's this lengthy call, and, you know, they're saying it's been vetted, nothing to see over here. But when Katie explained what she was doing on the Nancy Grace show with that 3-hour conversation, we're all like, wait a minute. You're studying, you're talking on your phone, and you're falling asleep? So it just didn't make a whole lot of logical, I just realized I left my drink, logical sense. So what I'm going to do here, and I'm going to have to get up in just a second to go get me a drink, is we're going to go and start working this down. But before we do, we have 2 cases, actually 3 cases, that we need to bring up very shortly and very briefly. And these are true crime cases. This is about, we know we've been having a lot of fraud, right? This is a case right here about an LA charity boss accused of, you know, absconding with $23 million in this homeless scam. So we know that there's been scams going on all over the United States and in all 50 of our states, fraudulent people doing fraudulent things, taking money from the most vulnerable of our population. It's just, it's sad. It's sad that we have uncovered all of this fraud. It is sad that it's a realization that we, the people, shouldn't be paying any taxes. And it's sad to say that we, the people, should probably fire our government. I'm sorry. That's just my position, but we're not getting into politics tonight. We're just telling the stories. So I'm going to go ahead and start this. I'm going to go run back to the back and get me some sodas, and then I'll be back, okay? So you guys stay put. This is going to be about 3 minutes. I'll be back before this is over. I'm not going to be able to listen to it. It's just for you so we can get moved on. We've got a missing dad, and we got some information for Tennessee and some missing kids that I think you guys would be interested in. So please stay tuned, and please enjoy this.
After federal authorities say he stole millions slated to help the homeless.
They say he lined his pockets instead. KTLA 5's Corrine Winter live in the newsroom with the details. Corrine.
Well, Sam and Glenn, the Homelessness Fraud and Corruption Task Force announcing this huge arrest today. Officials say that the executive director at the center of this case misused taxpayer funds intended to help some of LA's most needy individuals. He's accused of living the high life to the tune of $23 million instead of using public and taxpayer funds to help the homeless. That's according to federal and local officials who this morning arrested 42-year-old Alexander Sufer of Westwood at his multi-million-dollar home.
He lied to investigators when confronted. He provided fake invoices to make it appear that the payments to third vendors were legitimate. They were not.
Sufer is the executive director.
It's sad. It's just sad that these people can just make these. It doesn't seem like our federal government is prepared for fraudulent people. It just doesn't seem like they're prepared. I don't know. I don't understand it myself. I don't know if I will ever really understand it. Let me see how far I can go with this. There we go. I think that's good. Okay, good. But at the end of the day, we've got people doing a lot of scams and stuff like that around this country. And so I just want you guys to be aware of it. If you guys are in advocacy or anything like that, you might want to start looking into this fraud yourself. I'm pretty sure that if there's fraud prevalent all over this country in all of these states, I'm pretty sure it's in your backyard too. Oh, Woman's Warrior. It's nice to see you, lovely. Oh, let me just stop here before we're going to move on. That's all I really wanted to show you is this $23 million situation. And then we're going to get into a missing dad that has been missing for a while. But let me just stop. Let me just slow it up. I know I'm kind of trying to make sure you guys can get to your regular shows while we talk about this very important thing with Sebastian Rogers. And if you guys are curious, I have plugged in Seth's interviews. That's what this live is all about. Because holy smokes, what a stinking contrast. It picked up everything, folks, and I'm not even done uploading this stuff yet. I'm not even done. Oh, thank you, Melanie. God bless you. I'm not even done uploading this stuff. We're only to March 21st, fully March 21st, except with Terry Lynn. I don't know. Listen, and I'm not trying to dog on Terry Lynn. I'm not. it's just very disheartening. We have an open and active case. And this woman, every time she gets an interview on a true crime case, she puts it behind a paywall for profit. When you have an active and ongoing case, that shows the world you're not in here for true crime or advocacy for the child, okay? You're here to make money. And it really, really upsets me that you get these types of interviews and you put them behind a paywall on an open and active investigation. This is the second time I've had to call Terry Lynn out on all of these. Even the hate channels don't even do that, okay? Even the hate channels, they delete them, but they don't put them on freaking, members only. So I just can't. I can't. But anyways, there was one with Seth and his mother, and Terry Lynn was the only one that got that interview. And so I went to the link, and of course, it's members only. I'm not paying Terry Lynn to watch a members only. I'm just going to shame the hell out of her because we don't do that in true crime. When we have an active and ongoing investigation, we don't put relevant information behind a fucking paywall. Dumbass. If you don't want to be called a dumbass, don't be a dumbass. This is a missing child, not a fucking paycheck. Anyway, sorry guys. Lisa, it's nice to see you. Melanie, Tina, Samantha, hello, hello, hello. I hope you guys are doing well. Pennies, who else do we have? We have Sonia, Mama. Oh, Jasper up in the house. It's nice to see you, Jasper. Kathleen. And please, guys, you guys know how I get when I cover Sebastian Rogers' case. It's going to be a little fire, right? I get angry at this case. I'm angry at everybody involved in this case except Seth. I can't stand Chris and Katie. I can't stand the law enforcement out there. I think everything is so messed up. I feel so bad for this case. And then we keep digging and digging and digging. And it's like, there's no possibility in my mind that law enforcement is not looking directly at Katie and Chris. And, we're going back and forth, and we're even going back to some stuff we haven't seen in a while. Like today, we forgot about freaking Narcodiver. We didn't forget about Narcodiver. We know he went out there and searched for Sebastian, but we forgot some details. Like the FBI ride-along. Dad, burn it. Come on. Like the FBI ride-along. And that is, that's not good. That FBI ride-along is telling us something. So Sonia, it's nice to see you. Libby, me and you, it's nice to see you. Denise, hello, my love. Candace, it's nice to see you as well. Samantha, True Crime Justice. Deanna, I think I said. Crystal Pistol, Love Lakers, it's nice to see you. Hello, hello. Deanna, who else do we have? I think I said hi. Show Poodles, it's nice to see you, love. I hope you're doing well. Reba, hey, 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 hey. I know there's somebody else. A woman's warrior. It's been a while. I just want to give you a big old virtual hug. It's been a while. I hope you're doing well. If you guys haven't checked out Woman's Warrior's channel, please consider going over there and subbing up. She's one of ours, She's part of the coffee club. So we definitely support coffee club members. Anna saying, Betty, you are smart to live in warm Florida right about now. Hey, but listen to this. I'm gonna be brr, okay? I know you guys, everybody across this country is literally freezing, okay? I even kind of feel bad for Queen Bee. I mean, kind of, sort of, not. Karma. No. I need to stop. I need to leave that lady alone, right? I got a message that it's like 30, the wind chill is like negative 35 in Illinois, in Cook County. So I'm like, holy smokes, that's Chicago. That's not too far. And so everybody just across the country, please stay warm. If you know, guys, we got a lot of homeless people, Okay, you guys know I'm an advocate. I'm not a handout type of woman. I'm a hand up type of woman. So just remember that we do have homeless vets that have no place to go. Okay, so if there's things that you can do in your local community, providing a hot meal, paying for a coffee, donating some food to a food bank, providing some toiletry items, and more importantly, socks and blankets, sweatshirts, things that homeless people absolutely need to survive the brutal cold. If you have old jackets or other things that you can give away that somebody could use this year, please consider doing that. We need to be helping our neighbor. We're all struggling. We all have a little something. There's people that have literally nothing. Okay. And as these storms start rolling in, we know there's not going to be enough beds. We know somebody is going to lose their life because of these frigid temperatures. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Okay. Every year, many people don't know because it's not talked about. They're not homicide victims, right? They die theoretically of natural causes. So at the end of the day, we need to help thy neighbor in times like these, and it's sounding like it's going to be a brutal winter, at least for the next couple weeks for many of you. Anybody north of here, even me. I mean, I'm going to be down in the 30s, in the low to mid 30s Tuesday and Wednesday, and those are our county days. So I can only imagine how you guys are feeling for yourselves. But if you guys do have something to give, please give it. Even socks, right? So you guys don't even realize how invaluable socks are. Have your children outgrown their socks? Donate those socks. Donate anything you can possibly donate that can help keep somebody warm. I'm very, very concerned. I usually don't get too concerned, but I do. So let's get some blankets and some coats and jackets, stuff that you guys don't need anymore. Anyways, Vicki, it's nice to see you. Our beautiful Sonia is up in the house. I think I said hi to you, Samantha. Let's keep going. Angel baby, it's nice to see you. 3 out oven plus 9 half plus half. Your name's starting to get longer and longer. I just thought I'd let you know that. Your name's starting to get longer and longer. Who else do we have? Me and you. It's nice to see you. Stacy, good afternoon. The Nightbot's working pretty well. Nero is up in the house. It's nice to see you, Nero. Figure it out, Nan. Okay, I will. We always do. Go around, over or under. Nothing stands in our way. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get started on this show. Before we jump in or dive in too much, we're going to kind of get you guys up to snuff. And this one is a father that is missing, Albert Richardson. He's missing, and now they're taking a deeper look. I didn't hear about this. And the next story is going to kind of make you guys a little upset because we also didn't hear about that story either. So here you guys go.
Thank you for joining us. Each week we cover a missing person case that isn't getting much attention. Every missing person matters, no matter their race, background, or circumstances. And by highlighting these cases and sharing their stories, we believe every case is solvable. And together we can bring answers to the family and friends of the missing. This week's featured case is one that hasn't been covered until now. Albert Richardson, he goes by Peanut. He is a loving father of 2, known for bouncing from place to place in Central Florida. But since September, his family hasn't heard from him.
The longest that he's been gone in the past was maybe 3 days. And he's always been around. He's always called my mom to check on her, make sure she's okay. Or he would call us up if he needed something or needed a ride from me. It was like, it wasn't a day, like there was days that I didn't hear from him, but my mom always heard from him every day.
Peanut's family filed a missing person report in September, but so far, no action and no sign of him. Coming up, a family taking matters into their own hands, trying to piece together the last few months. And they have become detectives themselves looking for Peanut. We have some other cases to tell you about that we have been following this week. The National Parks.
And that's what is so bothersome with cases much like Peanut's case, is that he's an adult and he's most likely homeless, and he most likely has a history of substance or alcohol abuse. And unfortunately, our police don't take those cases seriously. So it's the responsibility of the family. It shouldn't be. But it is the responsibility of the family to become detectives. One day, we here on the Bullhorn Betty channel are going to take the time and we're going to author what to do when you have an adult person missing, because I don't feel like there is information readily available to families. There might be some information out there, but nothing readily available to families. We want to make sure that we market this and get this out to all 50 states. It's going to be something that we put as a to do for the future, maybe in our 3-year plan. But we need to get something. So if anybody would like to take take this project on, or help out, or contribute, or get a team, please reach out to me at bullhornbetty@gmail.com, and let's facilitate something where we can design something that when we find these missing, these families with missing adults, we get them a package of information that can help them, walk them through, it's almost like, what to expect when you're expecting, the baby book, like where it walks you through everything you're going to be feeling and going through. I think we need to do something like that, because I know there's stuff out there, but it's not readily available. If it was readily available, we'd all have a copy of it, and we do not. So we need to do something. Anyways, that was the case of Peanut. And here's a case that I think that you guys might be interested in, although it really does kind of irk me a little bit. Did we hear of any siblings and a toddler missing in Tennessee? Raise your hand if you heard of any twins or toddlers missing. I do searches all the time. Hi, Alita. It's nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. You know what I'm saying? So the question would be, why didn't we hear? Okay, so you heard it. Okay, I didn't. Good. I thought it was really interesting. I just found out about it today. That 2 twins and a toddler are missing, and they've been located. And this really, oh, thank you. This really upsets me, because we would like to advocate when we know that children are missing, especially children. We are an all hands on deck type of channel. We put this stuff, we start flying this out on every single one of our social media channels when we hear of a missing child. But we're going to start setting up some scrapers and other things for this channel. We've got a lot of stuff we're rolling out in 2026 and 2027 for this channel. So this is I'm kind of really excited that we're kind of getting to this point at this juncture on this channel where we can do a lot of different things. So I'm kind of excited about that. But listen to this. I didn't know this, and excuse me for my ignorance, but Memphis, they had a Memphis Safe Task Force recovers missing children. And it kind of, I'm very glad that this is the outcome. Okay, let's stop. Let's first say, I don't like that one. We're going to put that one. Let's first start out by saying we brought some children home. That's always a great day. Okay? Kudos to all the law enforcement that had a hand in bringing these beautiful children home. Okay? Period. Done. Right? But I'm just, we've been upset that we didn't know about it. Because when it comes to missing children, particularly missing children, I mean, everybody, statistics say that, it's when you go missing and you got somebody that ain't liking you, you're probably dead, okay? And when it comes to children, there's a lot of sick people in this world that do terrible things to children, okay? So when it comes to children, particularly, every millisecond counts. Every stinking millisecond. So you guys can imagine how much fire I get when I find out that kids' cases have been intentionally not brought to the public for whatever reason, especially young children, because it literally is all hands on deck. Every millisecond matters when it comes to young children. And so again, a little upset that I didn't hear this. And maybe somebody did send it to me and I don't remember reading it, or we were too busy, I couldn't cover it, or whatever the case may be. There are some things like that do happen, but it is what it is. Anyways, guys, let me put Fretton and get what this says. It says Memphis Safe Task Force, or MSTF, recovered 2 siblings and a toddler who were brought to safety on January 11th, 2026 in a joint effort by members of MSTF. So again, we want to, always say thank you to our law enforcement and thank you for their service. And I said that to a lot of people at the state capitol that were keeping us safe. At approximately 10:30 a.m., January 11th, 2026, the MSTF recovered 2 missing children in Selby County, Tennessee, who were reported missing by a family member to the Memphis Police Department on January 1st, 2026. One of the siblings had a toddler in her care. Memphis Safe Task Force member developed information through various leads. The children were found at different locations and ultimately turned over to the Tennessee Department of Children and Family Services. Since the creation of Memphis Safe Task Force on October 1st, 2025, there have now been 142 children safely found by MSTF. Behind every child that is not in a safe environment, there are family, friends, and concerned people waiting for their safe return, says Tyrese Miller, United States Marshal, District of Western Tennessee. You notice that, United States Marshal. This is important because we have begged and pleaded on our hands and knees to Sumner County to please let the U.S. Marshals get involved. This is their arena. This is their arena. And Sumner County turned down the U.S. Marshals' help for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. I want to repeat that again. Sumner County turned down U.S. Marshal help in locating Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. And I can tell you this happened September 2024. September 2024. Because, or maybe it was October. Because at night, Creative Intelligence around September brought forward their first huge reward for information for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. That was in September when they decided to jump into this case. And they brought a wealth of attorneys, some resources, and other things to this case. But one thing... Anyways, I lost track of where I was going. Oh yeah, but they did have a piece of paper. That's right. So it was them that brought in the U.S. Marshals, got the U.S. Marshals to agree to help out, but they needed a form signed by Sumner County Sheriff's Office. So they sent the form over to Sumner County Sheriff's Office, and they refused to sign the form. So we've had no U.S. Marshal help, and that is a direct result of the uncooperation of Sumner County. And I just want to put this out there because, they're the ones that say they're turning over every single rock. And when you turn down the U.S. Marshals, I can guarantee you are not, and I repeat, not turning over every rock to find this child. The Memphis Task Force is committed to using every resource available to locate and recover missing and endangered children. Too bad Sumner County does not want to follow suit. The task force is an interagency coalition of federal, state, and local law enforcement partners and continue to demonstrate a powerful collaboration in advancing public safety. And yet again, Sumner County, refuses to ask for help from the U.S. Marshals that have already offered to help. Okay? They've already offered to help. They've already offered to come in. All they need is the John Hancock of the sheriff or the detective saying that they can do it. That's it. And they refuse. I want to repeat that. They refuse. So now we still have no searches for Sebastian, no follow-up searches for Sebastian. We have literally nothing but an officer thinking he's going to solve the case inside his office. I don't know what to say about that. But they're going to hear my voice for an entire week, rain, shine, sleet, or snow. I will be out in front of Sumner County raising my voice, breaking this entire case down, breaking their entire failure down, public and in the public eye. They're going to get transparency. That whole community is going to get transparency one way or another. So Bullhorn Betty's moving in. We are bringing a whole crowd on the 1 or 2 year milestone of Sebastian Rogers. Everybody is coming to downtown Sumner County, in front of the Sumner County Sheriff's Office. We already have about 30 or 40 confirmed individuals. We want to make that 100 individuals. I gave you guys plenty of time to take off work, to do whatever you guys needed to do in an effort to have time to come out here and wave. We're calling all of Sebastian's army. We need all of Sebastian's army, okay? So that's it. We're very thankful that the Memphis Safety Task Force is committed to using every resource available to locate and recover children, even when Sumner County refuses to do just that. So now we're going to roll on in to the Sebastian Rogers case. Okay? So what is going on here in the Sebastian Rogers case? Let me just go over this for you. Sebastian disappeared, and again, as I told you guys before, it is the position of this channel that Sebastian disappeared on February 25th. There has been nobody to find him or see him after he went to bed. He went to bed on February 25th. He was never in his bed when his mother woke up. His mother never seen him again, allegedly, since he went to bed. And the last time a third party has seen this child was when? At the Texas Roadhouse on footage. So we haven't seen Sebastian since February 25th. Even us. That was the last sighting that we can record on record factually, okay? We can't take Katie's statements as factually, okay? Because there's nobody to corroborate her statements. You understand? So we can't take her statements that he went in, or he took the garbage out, or he went to bed at 9 o'clock. Those are all her statements. They're not, they have no evidence or proof to support them. And we have to remember that. Did he really go to bed? That's a great question. And it's one that many of us assume because of Katie's statements. But Katie, we have to understand, could lie, and probably has, right? We have caught things that don't make sense in this case. And one of those things, we just really did a wowzer at the last segment of our live from this morning. We had almost a 4-hour live, about 3.5, 4 hours today. And the last hour and a half of that show was directly related to Sebastian Rogers and this 2 to 3 hour telephone call that Chris and Katie had the night before he was reported missing, after he went to bed. And what AI tells us is that this is horribly wrong, that there's no possibility that these statements can go together, and that these are basically red flags and are taken as fabricating a story. That's what the opinion of AI. Now, AI is AI. It's not law enforcement. It's not a court. It's just, AI. So we've been leaning heavily on AI just to see its relevance, just to see its what information it does have for us, you know? And we've been plugging in only interviews. I haven't plugged in any opinions. I haven't plugged in any other facts of the case. I haven't plugged in any statements of law enforcement yet. We started out with Chris and Katie Proudfoot and their statements from, the 3-3 Dutch's interview all the way up. I think we have total of 10 interviews with Chris and Katie Proudfoot. And then, thank you. What is that? La Chupuros original? My Hooked on Phonics is broken, so welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club. Even though you're a subscriber and not a member, we still love you. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. But it didn't make sense. We knew it didn't make sense, but it's nice to have a program that can give us a breakdown of how law enforcement and forensics would analyze these things, right? And those are things that we only once before could assume. And so when we plug this stuff into AI and we have it run these metrics and these tests against what's been said in there, it's very, very interesting what comes out. And so this is no different. So what did I do? All I did was plug in 7 interviews into the system. Hold on, let me get down to the bottom. I got to work my way back up to find out where I plugged them in because I've been going. Okay, here it is. So here's my 7th. So I plugged in 7 interviews today with Seth. And I know that this was important to a lot of people on this channel for us to plug in the Seth interviews and find out how I appreciate that, Alita. All the support is definitely, hey, Seth, is definitely appreciated, not expected, but thank you and God bless you. And anybody else that supports our channel and supports the work that we do. I do travel. I know that for the last, 2 years we've been covering this case. I've done very limited traveling, but it's because of some expenses. We're kind of getting out. We're not going to be staying in the office. We're going to be conducting business like we used to conduct business. We're going to be on the grounds and working these cases from the grounds. I don't care about these counties anymore. I don't care about the government anymore. We'll deal with it when that time comes. I conduct myself lawfully and legally, and I'm tired of having something dangled over my head where they're violating my civil rights. I'm not going to have my civil rights violated by a freaking government. They got the wrong chick. Okay. Well, let them 66 just gifted Seth Rogers. I'm just joking. Welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club. There's Seth. There's the crazy owl. That's my screen. Grab your straitjacket in your padded room and welcome aboard.
All I can say is it's totally fake news. Just fake. It's fake. It's made up stuff.
But Trump, I'm saying he's a member now. He's a member. It's official. It's official. Sonia, you're doing way too much. Thank you so much, love. I do appreciate it. Prayers and hugs to Seth. Thank you. Thank you. So anyways, I did plug those in, and boy, I didn't even have to ask anything. I shouldn't say that. I said, here are the interviews Seth Rogers has done. Each title states with whom the interview was conducted and the date of the interview. Please contrast these interview with the 10 interviews previously uploaded for Christopher and Katie Proudfoot. That was it. I uploaded 7 of these interviews, and that was the only plug I put in here. So when it started spitting this out, I got to like the third or fourth sentence, and I'm like, pump the brakes, sister. Do we have brakes? Yep. I said, pump the brakes, sister. No, don't read. So I stopped. Hey, Hope. Nice to see you, love. Blue? Let them? Lisa? My boo? But I said, you got to stop right here, right? And so we're going to read this together. I did not finish this because I said, you know what? I'm not going to ask these questions. When I read this, you guys are going to cue in other questions that we need to put in to this chat and find out, or to this system and find out what it says. So the 10 interviews that we've already gone over, if you guys have not knew that we put the interviews in, please go back. What was it, 2 weeks ago? I believe we have part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 parts to that segment where we go over some, we plug the interviews in and we ask the system questions and it produced results. So I just put 7 more interviews into the system and you guys, I just read that. So if you guys are just coming in, let me read it again so everybody's on the same page of what I truly asked AI. I uploaded the first 7 interviews on the Excel spreadsheet that Seth did. And I said, here are the interviews Seth Rogers has done. Each title states, so I put the title of the document, and in the title of the document states with whom the interview was conducted and on the date of the interview. Please contrast these interviews with the 10 interview previously uploaded for Chris and Katie Proudfoot. And so this is what it says. Where's my drum roll? Do we have drum rolls? Do we have drum rolls? Okay. Seth's interviews and Chris and Katie's 10 interviews line up on core facts, but they diverge sharply in tone, focus, and where each side's story wobbles. If you guys are just coming in, you're not going to want to go out because the core story where they match is pretty interesting. So all agree that the last verified proof of life is school on Friday. And I think that's a little odd. Oh, thank you, Show Poodles. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for the love and the support because I'm a love machine. But I think that we forgot about that. He was seen in school. We have to remember he was seen in school. His father spoke to him on Thursday. He was observed in school on Friday. He was seen at Costco's on Saturday. And he had a very, very all-inclusive and overstimulating Sunday on the day that he disappeared. In my opinion, overstimulating. So all agree that he has no history of running away. Can we all agree that he had that so far, all the parents, I think this is accurate, all of the parents have agreed that Sebastian has zero history of eloping or running away ever. They all agree he's autistic. They all agree he loves video games. They all agree he has routines. And they all agree that he has specific foods and rituals. They all agree that he left his phone at home. They all agree that he may have a keychain flashlight with him, and they all agree his shoes were left by the door. They all agree these things. So these things are consistent from Chris, Katie, and Seth. Okay? Good to know. Good to know. So the timeline spine is consistent with both households, okay? Now, in all fairness, the keychain flashlight is an assumption that they've all agreed to have. Nobody knows if Sebastian truly left with that keychain. Just to throw that out there. Now, it's going to come back to, we're going to now part 2 of this, and this is tone and media strategy. Now, this is where I think things really do differ from one parent to the other when it comes to Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. And this is what it says. The tone and media strategy. Seth, across 6 interviews, was emotional forward, repeated describing my heart is missing, openly cries or chokes up, emphasizes love and guilt for not having him full-time yet. Search-centered. Every long-formed appearance on Lab, Pascal, and Nancy Grace, he detailed flyers, specific areas, his own daily search plans, parks, Nashville, Southside, Clarksville, etc. Low defensiveness. He will answer, this is what the system is saying, he will answer almost any questions related to custody, moves, the Department of Children and Family Services check, the discipline, polygraph offer, even when the statement makes him look bad. That's what they put in here. Even when the statement makes him look bad, he will answer almost any question. Big contrast from Seth to Katie. So now it's going to dive into Chris and Katie. And this is what it says about Chris and Katie across the 10 interviews in conjunction with Seth's interviews. So the number one bullet point on here says message managed. Focused on narrative of the night, Sebastian's trace and frustration with rumors, more efforts to correct the public than walk through concrete search work they're doing. They also notated at bullet point 2 that increasing defensiveness. As interviews progress, you see more irritation with creators, questions about polygraphs and privacy boundaries, especially around the Department of Children, Family Service, or CPS, and their discipline. Limited on-the-ground details. They refer to cooperating with law enforcement and helping in searches, but don't go into the blow-by-blow of where they themselves are looking in some vivid way, that in the same vivid way Seth does. Seth identifies where specifically he's did you put in web sleuth? I have to look. I think we were waiting for web sleuths, but I might have put web sleuths in. I'll have to check and see. I'll check for you in just a second. Seth sells anguish and effort. Proudfoot, listen to this. Oh my gosh. Listen to this, folks. Listen to this, guys, okay? Seth sells anguish and effort. Proudfoot sells a composed, controlled narrative and cooperation. That contrast is huge on camera. That's what this AI has put in here. Huge on camera. So now it's going to section 3, which talks about key inconsistencies versus stability. Night and day. Oh, absolutely night and day. Absolutely. Sebastian Rogers looks just like my autistic son. Same thing. Believe it or not, we did have that lady in North Carolina that had a very similar looking son as well. It's kind of interesting. There are a lot of boys with sandy blonde hair and black frame glasses, and they do have some physical traits of one another. It's pretty crazy. I didn't realize how closely other people resemble one another until we're really searching, for a child or a needle in the haystack. And then you realize, oh my gosh, this is, we have a lot of children that look similar. And that's been the most, and we all have seen it, right? Parosa original. Hopefully I'm saying that right. I hope I did. Anyways, it's nice to see you. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty channel. Could it be that CP was at home with KP and Sebastian? That's why the dogs were put in the kennel. That is a theory. I will tell you, that is a theory. Some people believe Chris was home. I could tell you one of my very first theories out there was that Chris was responsible for all of this, because he seemed to be the one that we identified as literally hating this boy. He hated Sebastian. Chris did not like Sebastian at all. He loved to torment that boy. He loved to be dominant over that boy. He loved knowing he felt like God around Sebastian. I don't know how other way to explain it. That's just my opinion, but I think it is supported in part by some of the details that Seth has in his possession, custody, and control. Hey, Allie. It's nice to see you. KP and CP know exactly where Sebastian is at. I'm sorry, when Nancy Grace says, hey, something doesn't add up, that's all I needed. I agree. It's pretty rough. Original, you got, could it be... Yes, okay, so I saw that. What is this one? And then you had another, maybe Sebastian objected about CP being... Oh, there was a lot of contention with CP being there. So many people believe that CP had to leave, that they were getting ready to remove Sebastian from that home. But that, again, is a rumor. We can't talk to the Department of Children and Family Services. They won't provide us any answers. Seth is basically gagged. He can't tell us anything about that because it's records, and I don't understand that, because I would think that if it's your child and they're your records, you can talk about them anytime you want. But they threaten to charge or cause problems with Seth by releasing those records. So I don't know. We only have what Seth and Tony have released, and so far the only thing that they've said on the record about the records is that there were 5 CPS visits to that home in 14 months. That's a lot, okay? That's a lot of home visits by the Department of Children and Family Services in such a small amount of time. 14 months, 5 visits, okay? That's ridiculous. And for the Department of Children and Family Services never to reach out to Seth to say that these things are going on in the home when they were required to reach out to his father, again, him finding out this after the fact is like adding insult to injury. When you have a missing child, that information it's too late. It's too late. So, hey, Angel Baby. Yes, I'm back to hear you talk about his story, Betty, because I was eating my supper. Oh, good. I'm glad you're full. I got junk food. I'll be honest with you. I don't know where it came from. I meant to go out and buy some real groceries, but I spent $62 on a bunch of garbage. Soda. I think the only healthy thing I bought was the water. I got a tub of already made cheesecake. I got cashews. I got pork rinds. I got donut holes. I got biscuits. I can't even tell you if I bought meat. I don't think I bought any meat. But I do have bacon here, and I've got some chicken and some hamburger already in the freeze, so we're not going to talk about it. I'm just saying, we're not going to talk about it. Quit. We're not talking about it. If I say it one more time, I would think that we want to talk about it. $62 won't get by. It doesn't buy. Are you kidding me? It doesn't buy nothing. It buys absolutely zero. Okay. But again, we're not talking about it. About it. Okay, let's get to section 3. 3 is key inconsistencies and stability. So they've got this broken down to Seth's side and Chris and Katie's side. Now, again, this is only on 17 interviews. We all know that there are a lot more interviews than 17. And any interview that frickin' Terry Lynn has apparently is behind a frickin' paywall. Like who does? We have an active case. You know what? In all fairness, the only thing that are behind my paywall is some Summer Wells stuff, and it's because, we were fighting to keep this channel up, and people were trying to hit my channel with every little thing that they've got, and this was back before I had 10,000 people, and I could call customers, support or creator support for help. They were trying to take my channel, so in an effort to keep my channel from getting struck again, I put all the stuff in from Summer Wells into the members only. But since then, I've moved a lot of that stuff out. And if I find something else, I'll move that stuff out. But she was never in jeopardy of losing her channel. So there was no excuse for her to put all the stuff that she's got behind paywalls, except she's a greedy woman that's not here for Sebastian. She's here for a paycheck. You do not want to play with me. You do not want to play with me. Unfrickin' paywall that interview. We have real work to do here for a missing child, Terry Lynn. Shame on you. How dare you? How dare you? Quit being such a greedy bitch. Jesus. And it's Seth's interview, nonetheless. It's Seth's interview. Whatever. So if anybody has a copy of it or knows where a copy of it is, because when it went out, she didn't have it behind a paywall. She wanted the attention, so she wanted everybody to see her stuff and come over there and give her the clicks and the views, okay? The things that we don't do here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Anyways, I digress. Let's just move on. So Seth's side is pretty stable on facts. So we know that the text and missed call were around 6:20, which is, again, very, very concerning because they didn't bother calling the law enforcement until after they called Seth to tell Seth his son was missing, right? They called Seth, tell him his son's missing, trying to pick up, trying to set the tone before they even called law enforcement. They were too busy. All these things matter because it shows their mind thought. They were trying to remember all these things, but normal people go through things in very specific orders. You're not calling your ex. You're either calling your ex to see if your child's with him, which they didn't. They would have called his work. But they called him 13 minutes before they called law enforcement. What did they do for that 13 minutes on the phone? What did they talk about for 13 minutes on the phone before they called law enforcement? She called her husband. Let's go through the statement. Let's go through the statement. Katie states, and you guys will remember this. If I'm misstating, please throw it in the chat. I was screaming to all you trolls and haters out there that are from the bushes. If I'm wrong about this, chime up. Here's your opportunity. Here's your opportunity. But according to Katie, she gets up at 6. She goes into her son's room. He's not there. She goes in to wake him up and he's gone. She looks around the house anywhere between 1 to 3 minutes, or should I say 3 minutes to 1 minute, because even this time her story changes wildly of what she was doing in this time frame. Okay? So and he immediately calls law enforcement on three-way. That was the original statement. Original statement for, I don't know, 3 weeks, something like that. And then all of a sudden around the 20th of, the 18th to the 20th of March, we start learning that that wasn't actually the truth. That Katie actually found out her son wasn't in the house and then jumps in her car and drives like a bat out of hell out of her community toward a school, like she was in the NASCAR races. And then she swoops back, heads back home, and starts driving up and down her roads. Not up and down her roads first, then to the school. She hightails it straight out of her community. Straight out of her community. While Chris is on the phone. Remember, neither one of them talked about this at all up until 3:18. And then all of a sudden we realize that Katie left that house in her vehicle. And she alleges that she drove to the school and back looking for her son. But what we discovered is, how could she be screaming out the window for her son when her windows were rolled up? We've got her on camera with her windows rolled up. Now, many people say, does she look like she's on the phone? Listen, I'm not going to speculate whether she was on the phone or not, because we all have cars. We all have smart cars. And we all know that somebody doesn't even need to have their phone present to be on the phone in a car. So for us to make such a leap that she wasn't on the phone or wasn't speaking to somebody, I think, one, isn't true. I think Chris was on the phone with her. And two, she has an Infinity. And we have to know that Infinity probably has a good infotainment center in it. Okay, even my 2011 Black Beauty, she had an infotainment center, and that was a 2011. I'm pretty confident that that car that Katie's driving is much newer. I can't remember if it's 2016, 17, 18, 19, or 20. I don't remember. But either way, it's a newer car, and if it's newer than 2011, it's going to have Bluetooth capability where you don't even need to have your phone, just needs to be in your purse. Okay, so I'm not buying that she wasn't on the phone, because I think clearly the evidence supports that she in fact was on the phone. I think that they three-wayed Seth together. I think they three-wayed law enforcement together. I think this was staged, as many of you guys know my opinion on this and why I'm saying the things that I'm saying. But anyways, I digress. Let's just get back to what this says and not my speculation and stuff like that. So what it says is his Seth's side's been pretty stable. A text message and missed call around 6:20. He sees it around 7:20 when he hits his truck. He arrives at the house around 8 o'clock. No forced entry was notated in the house. That was normal and clean. No obvious theft. Dogs hit once toward a construction site, then scent disappears, which is interpreted likely into a car. So they believe whoever scent was picked up got into a vehicle at that location. That was what was interpreted at the time. Again, these are based on interviews. I know some of this stuff has been resolved since then, but we're going back to the beginning and building this. Hey, Barbosa, it's nice to see you, love. I hope you're doing well. Michelle, TN Dreamin', it's nice to see you as well. Blue Wolf. Privy to internal LE details. He openly says he's emotionally attached and they keep him at arm's length on the investigative side. Oh, excuse me, I missed one. So it says wobbles in margins. So he doesn't know shoe glass specifics at first house, arm's length on the investigative side. Now, Chris and Katie's side's different. So search window shrinkage is what's notated first. And it says Chris early, she searched several times before calling him. Katie on WSMV and Nancy said about 3 minutes in, she's on the phone to Chris. And then later on, Olivia and Web Sleuths. So yes, Lisa B. Always, we did have Web Sleuths in here. It references it here. And it says all took place in 1 minute flat. So the 3 minutes were stated on WSMV and Nancy Grace. And everything took place in 1 minute flat, was observed on later on Chronicles of Olivia and the Web Sleuth interview. So those have changed over time as well. Other refinements over time is how quickly she checked doors and windows. Interesting. We never thought about that. Hey, Tap Dancer Lizzie. It's nice to see you. Unicorn, it's nice to see you. Nero says live streaming off. Flipping YouTube. What? My live stream's not off, is it? Oh. What's going on? Can you guys hear me or see me? Okay. Looks like I'm... Okay. Well, either way, going on and off, it shouldn't be going on and off at all. It's saying excellent on my end. We should be okay. I think we're having some tech. I haven't gotten the encoder hooked up, guys. So, yes, you had to refresh. Okay, there was something on my end, but I don't know what it is. Oh, that's what I'm doing. I'm running on both of these. Sorry, I didn't pause these. And it's not letting me. Let me see if I can refresh this. Give me just a second. All right, guys. Sorry, I'm just making some modifications here while we get this set up. All right, we should be back, but we're not. Hold on. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys, somebody put in the chat whether you guys can hear me or not? I'd greatly appreciate it, because it's showing me that we've got some issues going on with the channel, and I want to make sure that we're still doing well. Send an email with a screenshot in case you didn't see them. Okay, I gotcha. Can you guys hear? Yes, you guys can? Okay. Can hear you. Okay, perfect. Just making sure. Okay, now everything's kind of worked itself out. Okay. Sorry, guys. I needed to make sure that we weren't going a little cray-cray. There is some kind of hiccup going on. Thank you guys for bearing with me while we worked through it. I do appreciate it. Okay, so let's go ahead and get back to what we were going. Now we've got some refinements. So we know now that she said 3 minutes in WSMV and Nancy Grace. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you. God bless you. That it took place in a minute. So it's been back and forth between a minute flat and 3 minutes. Which is it? Well, she didn't really. If you guys go back in the history of this case, you will find... Wow. Guys, we're having some really weird technical issues that we should not be having, because we're not running a strong live here, and we're just constantly being hit right now. I don't know what's going on here. Either way, I'm not going to worry with it. Let me get back here. How quickly she checked the windows. So if you guys look at the timeline between the 1 minute and the 3 minutes, it's pretty interesting, because what you're going to find out is that it was after the deception detective taught us about what the number 3 means, and how when you use the number 3, it can almost imply deception. And she used about 3 minutes until the deception detective brought that up, and then all of a sudden she started talking about it being only a minute. And so that has been the biggest problem. Guys, give this a second. I'm trying not to shut down my live to reset it, because we're having so many issues going on with my studio, and I don't know why. I'm not bottlenecking. I don't have anything on. I should not be going through this. I literally don't know what in the world is going on with the system, but it's starting to really irritate the crap out of me. Okay. Okay. I think I finally got it fixed. Hallelujah! Sorry. Sometimes you gotta work on the thing, but I got it fixed. I got everything turned off that needed to be turned off. Sorry, there were some things working behind the system I didn't realize was working. So, Alcoholic, it's nice to... oh, did he have problems last night also? Okay. Well, then it might be something going on with YouTube. Every now and again they give us a problem, but I'm literally running nothing behind the scenes for it to... like, even without my encoder hooked up, it should be running just fine. You know, I've got literally nothing. I've got no transitions. I'm not running anything from the internet on here except our chat, which shouldn't be a problem. So anyways, let's get back to what we were talking about. I'm going to end up having to download this and cut all this crap out of here. So other refinements over time. How quickly she checked doors and windows, whether she went out in a car, and when exactly she involved neighbors shift subtly between early Dutchess and WSMV and later Web Sleuths and Fox and Friends. Chris's statement on CPS, DCF, contact, and discipline have also been tightened and partially contradicted by later discussions, i.e. two CPS states belt was used, raised the lab in Smiley's context. So Seth's narrative evolves mainly by adding detail. Chris and Katie's evolve by compressing and reshaping critical timing and minimizing concerning facts, which read more like damage control, which I think we've all felt from the beginning of this case. Many of us have actually used those terms. Damage control. Damage control is being used when Chris and Katie come. They're not here advocating for their son. They're here trying to advocate for themselves, trying to get us to believe whatever is coming out of their mouth. And unfortunately, we've been picking up on it, but we're average Joes. Are we really looking at this analytically? Many people have self-doubt. I have self-doubt at times, right? So hearing this stuff and knowing that it's attributed to how we felt, that we all felt that they were in damage control, that specific word, it really does make us feel like, we were onto something, does it not? Doesn't it feel kind of like almost liberating that we weren't wrong about this? I really do feel like that. I feel like we feel a little liberated, if you will, right? So I thought that was interesting to understand. Now we're going to go over to section 4, which is attitude toward law enforcement and polygraph. So this is breaking it down between Seth and Katie and Chris. So it starts with Seth, and it says, speaks highly of search efforts. They did a wonderful job. Horses, dog, multi-agency response. Frustrated at communication gaps related to Lebanon PD not recognizing Amber Alert, lack of updates, landfill search worries, but separates that from blaming specific investigators. Volunteer polygraph says he offered and was told no, openly referenced Mark class style search test standard. And then it breaks it down into Chris and Katie. And they say for the marker, there's two bullet points under Chris and Katie. And it says for the first bullet point, emphasize cooperation, said they've turned over phones, did long interviews, took polygraphs. Katie explicitly, Chris by reference. And more sensitive to LE media optics, unhappy about partial camera shots, selective invites, Nancy Grace drama, and online interrogation of their compliance. Next, Seth frames himself as take anything, test anything. Proudfoot's present as already scrutinized, somewhat weary, defensive about more exposure. Big difference, polar opposite from one person to another. Sherry, it's nice to see you. In my opinion, the most genuine interview was the first one. Katie was rocking, comforting herself, staring, disassociating, etc. Chris was almost non-emotional. In my opinion, that interview is the most real for her. And it's the first one we could actually see their body language as well, But so far, I really think this AI is picking up on a lot of stuff that we've overlooked. Like there's a lot of stuff that I didn't even look at that's kind of enlightening me. And not only that, but with this enlightening, it also helps with the understanding and the confidence, right? And the teaching, like we're learning something. Every time we read this and it breaks stuff down, we're learning something new. So I really enjoy it. So now we're on section 5, how each talks about Sebastian. This was huge for us. Okay, I haven't read this. Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. Hey, Cinderella. I'm so sad we would all know the truth if Katie and Chris would stop lying. Yeah. But it further supports that we believe that they did something terrible because they have to continue to lie. Like they're so scared to tell the truth. They can't tell the truth. If they tell the truth, they're probably going to jail for a really long time. So they're going to lie because they've got no benefit, no reason to tell the truth. And considering that Chris has been a compulsive liar literally his entire life, he is very good at what he does. He can lie to you at the flip of a switch. We saw it on Queen Bee. We saw it after court when he was screaming in his mother's face, when he was screaming in Terry Lynn's face, when he was screaming at everybody, when his mother, literally, I was on the 4th or 5th floor of the courthouse and I could see her veins sticking out of her neck, his mother. They were just nasty, vile. You could really see who they were that day. And I got to tell you, he went on Queen Bee and people talked about it. I went live and said, we saw them go. Like, even my attorney saw it. Like, everybody was just crowded at the window. My attorney's over all of us. You know, I'm by at the window. We're all trying to record, you know, what's going on down there. They got some recordings, but nobody wants to post them. I don't know why, but nobody wants to post them. Anyways, it was just crazy. You saw that going on. And then somebody went into Queen Bee's chat and said, did you yell at your mom? And he literally in 2 seconds came up with a lie. And we all knew it was a lie because, I mean, Mr. and Mrs. E were there. We had Mr. and Mrs. Car Guy there. I can't remember if that's when Silver's on the Scene was there. I can't remember who all was with us at that particular hearing when we saw that, but I know if the people that were there had to have seen it. There's more than just me that's seen this. So it was crazy, but when he was addressed on the spot, just like that, and I listened to it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he is so believable. He's good. He's good. He's good, folks. He is good. As good can get. Yep. And so that right there made me realize just how quick on his feet he can think, and how he can produce a lie, a believable lie. Like, if I didn't know who he was and I didn't see that with my own eye, I would have believed him. Honestly, I would have believed his story. I'm from a Southern mama. Let me ask you this. What Southern mom do you know that you could talk to like that without her whipping your ass or whatever he said? And I'm like, well, she definitely didn't whip his ass. And she definitely allowed him to scream in her face. Like, nose to nose. And that's when I knew he's good. And I think I even said that. I'm like, he's good. He's real good. So he's a professional liar. He's a compulsive liar. So now let's go to 5. How each talk about Sebastian. So the dimension is emotional tone. Seth's center view. Raw, grieving, sometimes choked, very paternal language. My son, he's my life, etc. And then on the flip side, the same type of emotional tone from Chris and Katie's interview. It says flatter effect, sometimes nervous, laughing. We've seen the laughing that we've all been like, this ain't right. This is right. Raise your hand if you guys have thought that their laughing in certain spots were inappropriate. If you believe their laughing in certain spots were inappropriate, raise your hand or put a 1 in the chat. Okay? So they're picking up on that. Katie is more constrained. Chris is more combative and argumentative when challenged. So now they're going to go to content. Seth's interviews. Concrete anecdotes, tickling to wake him, cooking PB&J, sausage gravy and biscuits, gaming routines, slippers versus shoes, aunt bed story, school trophy. And then on the flip side, Chris and Katie's interviews, broader traits, smarter, stubborn, autism challenges, routine, non-social media, discipline framework, and weekend activities. Risk framing. He wouldn't leave barefoot. He wouldn't leave without calling me. Routine minus break equals something is wrong. And on the other side, Chris and Katie's interview, he could have walked off. 90% of autistic kids wander. Line appears in later commentary context used to support the walk-off theory. Both humanize him, but Seth spends more time painting Sebastian's inner world and shared rituals. Proudfoot spend more time justifying rules and structures and the walk-off scenario, which we all picked up. Yeah, Mr. E was, oh, that's right. The real Me Too was there. Sonia might even have been there too. I can't remember. Sonia, were you there for that one or no? I can't remember. So 6, big picture contrast for your casework. Okay. Consistency of core facts. All parents align on basic when, where, no prior runways, shoes by door, no forced entry, dog trail to construction site, then dead, no scent beyond that. Where suspicion clusters. Seth's side. Past CPS contacts and belt discipline disclosed makes him imperfect, but he does not have timeline control of the night of, and his story doesn't meaningfully shift across 6 appearances. Chris and Katie's side, they had custody and control of the scene, plus the only proof of life window from Friday to Monday, and their story about those crucial hours is one that changes the most between interviews. Hey, Patty, some posted. I'll post it if I had it. Thank you. So very interesting how they pick these, they're picking up some information here. Let me pull this down just a tad bit. So for the content, you can fairly say the factual backbone of Sebastian's disappearance is remarkably similar across Seth and the Proudfoot interview. The presentation is not. Seth comes across as uncontrolled grief and relentless search. Chris and Katie come across as controlled narrative with tightening details and mounting defensiveness, especially about timing and CPS/discipline. So it's asking me, if you'd like the next step, I can build a 2-tab markdown table you can use directly. Time and fact. Ooh, that sounds good. Yes, please. Yes, please do that. Let's see what happens. So I thought this was, again, very clarifying for me. We have over 17 interviews here, and they are reviewing a lot of the stuff, and they are looking at Seth's 6 interviews, because the 7th interview was Terry Lynn, and she decided to put her interview with Seth and his mother behind a paywall, which I totally and wholeheartedly disagree with. Is Auntie E in here? Yes, Aunt. Oh, that's right. They were there. Oh, that's right. That was that. Yes. So we had a lot of witnesses. I mean, this is not just Bullhorn Betty saying, oh, I saw this. Like, there was a lot of people there. Okay. And you're not going to get all of us to lie. Okay. So, at the end of the day, it has to be true. So I'm going to pull this up on the screen for you guys. I don't normally, put this stuff up on the screen. Let's see if I got it here. It goes Sebastian Rogers. I'm putting it up on the screen here. Should be, not liking that. Let me pull me back over here. Let's see. Oops. No, I'll leave that there. Okay. Hopefully you guys can see that. So here is the chart behind me. Let me see if I can just take my face off there. There we go. And let me take this off too so you guys can see it. So you guys can see what I'm seeing. Let me move this here, move this bigger. There we go. There we go. Let me pull it down here. All right. So I'm not going to put my face on here because I want you guys to be able to read this and read along with me. So this is the timeline and facts. Seth versus the Proudfoots. Beat/questions. So last verified proof of life before disappearance. Talks to Sebastian on the phone on Thursday. He knows he has school. He was at school on Friday. No proof of life for him personally between Friday afternoon and Monday. Now this was again back then. We've now know that there was a proof of life video at the Texas Roadhouse that Sunday. Okay, but this is before that was realized on Seth's side, because I haven't gotten to that part of the interviews yet. I think that comes up in another 2 or 3 interviews. I think we realized that. I think it was on Dolly's interview, but we'll find out when I plug that interview in. But that will change, just to let you know. So the contrast is Chris and Katie's version through the 10 interviews relies on Sunday activities: bowling, dinner, home, bed. Says she put him to bed Sunday night and discovered him gone Monday morning. So Sunday evening activities. There we go. Up there at the top. Says there is video proof Sebastian was with Katie Sunday evening at dinner. So here the proof comes in. References that narrow disappearance to Sunday night, Monday morning. And then, of course, on Katie and Chris's side, recounts BJ's bowling, dinner, then home, repeats same basic Sunday narrative across Dutchess, WSMV, Fox 17, Olivia, Smiley, and Web Sleuths. So the night of timing, only knows when Katie tells him she put him to bed Sunday. He's gone when she goes to wake him up on Monday. Katie goes to bed, he went to bed around 9 p.m. Later, she says she saw him asleep again when she went to bed. No noise, no disturbance. Chris mirrors this, and I don't think that's accurate because I think the thud was in multiple interviews up to this point. Discovery, he's missing. Clock timing. Shift ends at 7 a.m. Seth's side. Shift ends at 7 a.m. Walks to truck about 7:20. Then sees a missed call and text from Chris. Call me, it's 911. And remember, that came in at 6:20 in the morning, and it was another 13 minutes after he says, call me, it's 911. It took him 13 minutes to call law enforcement, and still he never called 911. Katie says she wakes school time 6 a.m., 6:20, doesn't find him, checks the house, then calls Chris, texts Seth around 6:20. Now remember, Chris never said that. That's just in the reports from Seth's side. Immediate action after discovery. On Seth's side, it says I'm not down far enough for you guys. Here we go. There we go. He immediately drives from work to the house, gets there at 8 a.m., stays all day watching dogs, search team, answering questions, phone seized to verify his alibi. On Chris and Katie's side, it says Katie walked through the house to see if he's up, getting breakfast, then calls Chris. Later versions, very short window, 1 to 3 minutes from checking to calling police. Chris says she made several efforts to look before calling him in the earliest telling. Search description, Ellie's side, describing multi-agents response: horses, 12 dogs, ponds, perimeter. 1 dog hits a trail towards the construction site, then scent dies. He interprets that as likely got into a car, but stresses he's not on that department, or not on that department. Proudfoot emphasize a huge law enforcement search, National Guards, dive teams, 10-mile radius, then scale back. Don't personally narrate the dog trail in as much detail. Scene condition when Seth arrives. Seth says the house looks clean, like it normally does. No forced entry. He can see nothing obviously stolen. Katie and Chris likewise say no broken windows, doors. Nothing is missing except Sebastian and possibly his keychain flashlight. Insist no obvious crime scene. Shoes, phone. Seth, all 3 pairs of shoes, new, old tennis shoes and boots by the front door. No shoes in his room. He talks about a prior aunt issue as to why he does that. Phone was left out charging in the kitchen, and he initially unsure about the glasses, then accepts Ellie and media line that he had glasses on. Proudfoot from first TV hit stresses left with no shoes, took keychain, flashlight, left phone. Later also confirmed classes to believe had gone with him. They lean into Barefoot Wanderer's narrative as Ellie's public working theory. So I'm not going to go through. Let's see. Let's do the two. I didn't like that one. These are facts versus Proudfoot. So we'll get to that at a different time. But this one's demeanor and red flags. Overall emotional tone. This is going to be interesting. And then we'll kind of close out after this. Oh, good. I can see. I'm not sure why. Let me take this off because it looks like this is jammed up. Oops. There it goes. Looks like the gift thing is jammed up for some reason. I'm not sure what's going on with that, but either way. So the demeanor and red flags. Overall emotional tone, frequently choked up. So this is Seth on camera patterns and Katie on camera. So Seth is in this area right here, and Chris and Katie are going to be on this area right here. So this is the category. And when I read it, because these are going to fall off, you're not going to see these. So, overall emotional tone. Frequently choked up, voice breaking, phases like my heart is missing, he's my life, hell on earth. It comes off as a dad who isn't trying to manage optics. On Chris and Katie's side, more controlled. Katie is often flat, occasionally nervous laugh. Chris is more combative or sarcastic when challenged. Emotion is present but filtered through explanation and defense. Focus on message. Lasered focus on search. Where he's been, where he's going tomorrow, flyers, billboards, state parks, specific towns, repeats, keep your head up and your eyes open, call 911. Chris and Katie focuses on narrative control, walking audience through night of step-by-step, clarifying rumors, emphasizing Ellie's clearance, cooperation, explaining why critics are wrong. Willingness to discuss negatives. Seth admits CPS involvement in 2 states in building. Now, I think this is on Chris and Katie's. It's gotten confused somehow, so I'll have to redo these. Except the sounds, it sounds bad, but insists it's not connected and does not shut conversation down. That's Chris, not Seth. And Seth's interview right here states opened about custody shifts, his work in a jail, and not being perfect. So this needs to be on Chris's side. Initially vague and minimizing about CPS discipline, fuller admission tends to come later and usually under pressure from host or released documents. Chris especially gets defensive around this topic. And consistency over interviews. According to Seth, on Seth's side, core beats call at 6:20, approximately 6:20, sees it at approximately 7:20, and arrives at the house at approximately 8. Bare feet after fire incident is unlikely. Not a wanderer. Daily search grind. Stays the same from Fox News, Nick Barris, Nancy Grace, Pascal, The Lab. Added details doesn't usually overwrite earlier statements, so he's not manipulating the statements. On Chris and Katie's side, however, noticeable evolution in the search timeline, which all of us have known. Okay, we've seen it, we've heard it, we've observed it. Everybody's trying to tell us that we're stupid, we don't know what we're talking about, that we're just imagining this stuff. Well, if we're imagining this stuff, why is AI picking it up so easily? And so it's saying that they are absolutely evolving their timeline. The truth is the truth no matter how many times you say it. It should not evolve. The truth doesn't change. The past doesn't change. You can't go back and change the past. So any story related to a past event should never change. Noticeable evolution in the search timeline from the searched several times, Chris's earlier, to about 3 minutes, Katie on WSMV and Nancy Grace, to like 1 minute flat and immediately car search and later creator interview. Small but important shifts in whether she searched inside only or went out in a car and how long before 911. This is critical. Attitude toward LE and scrutiny. Frames LE search as wonderful job, only complaint about interagency communication and Amber Alert awareness, repeatedly offers polygraph, invites search of his property, accepts that he'll be looked at. However, on Chris and Katie's side, publicly emphasizes cooperation, but bristle at some LE media choices, hands only, shot, partial interview, feeling vilified, more focused on feeling suspected and misrepresented than pushing for LE's involvement, for more LE involvement. How they talk about Sebastian. Seth, lots of granular anecdotes, PB&J toasted sandwiches, bacon and biscuits, and Call of Duty sessions, tickle wake-ups, slippers versus shoes, trophy at schools, growth spurts and shoes that no longer fit, reads as intimate and everyday dad-kid details. However, on Chris and Katie's side, describe his traits: smart, stubborn, autistic, routine, struggles with regulation, and Sunday fun day, but fewer tiny domestic details. More time is spent on rules, restrictions, and safety measures around the scene, the screens, and behaviors, which we all knew. You know, they were focused on punishing him. Red flag moments from viewers' perspective. One is the CPS belt thing again, and that's for Chris and Katie. And two, admits he has no proof of life from Friday, except which is unintentionally highlighted the Proudfoot's control of window. So I think that has nothing to do with Seth anyways. Again, they have confused this whole belting incident. And I think Seth brought it up in an interview, but he was speaking on behalf of Chris, and it picked it up as him. Chris and Katie's red flag is shrinking search timeline, looks like short story tightening under pressure. 2, Chris's public demeanor, sarcasm, anger, list of ex-wives, self-presentation, reads poorly to many viewers. And 3, reluctance / delay in some national media and in-depth creator interviews, then later going on more controlled platforms, feel like media management rather than total openness, which we've all felt. Classic innocent parent versus managed narrative signals for your commentary as not as proof. So Seth checks a lot of boxes commentators like Nancy Grace hold up. Immediately openness, offers polygraphs, invites searches of his life, devotes every spare day to searching, and repeatedly centers Sebastian over adult drama. Proudfoot checks boxes for family under suspicion in a highly profile case. Heavily emphasize their own vetting, stories, elements that refine and shrink over time, clear irritation with online scrutiny with less visibility, detailed personal search activity, because they haven't searched for their son, which, again, for many of us, is a stinking red flag. So there you guys go. I mean, we've had quite a bit of sorry, let me get this out. There we go. We've had quite a bit of information come to us. We've been trying to wade through it. I know a lot of our analysis, we question. We don't know if we're confident in that analysis. And with the help of AI, all that stuff we did, all that work we did without AI, seems like we were all right on the money in many cases. We identified a lot of the stuff that AI is picking up that is saying it's problematic. So kudos to all of you. You guys have done a great job. You guys have certainly done a great job. So I just want to thank you all for coming out tonight, for coming and hanging out with me, for participating, for helping out. I would like to do another live like this tomorrow, Saturday. So we'll be doing a very, very early live in the morning if you'd like to join. Otherwise, please join us on the replay crew. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe to the Bullhorn Betty channel. But later in the afternoon, hopefully in the evening, I usually get back here anywhere between 5 and 6:30. So I may go ahead and roll out with another live around anywhere between 6:30 and 8:30 at night tomorrow night. And I'd really like to have our evening show open. I would like to have our evening show I would like our evening show I might open up the phone lines for our evening show tomorrow. I might open up the phone lines so we can ask the system questions. I'll try to upload a few more interviews into the system. And when I upload those new interviews in the system, maybe we'll ask a whole host. I'd like to try to get us somewhere into April for both Chris and Katie and Seth, right? I think if we can get that up to April, because I think things, once April hit, everything we got some bits and pieces of stuff, out there, but I'd really, really like to really hone in on some of that stuff. Oh, Sherry, thank you. Betty, is there a separate place where info on February protests for Sebastian details are? Not sure if there is a meetup. Just asking. Thank you, Sherry. Yes, it's on our Facebook group. Sonia has posted it. It's going to be in Sumner County. It's going to be in front of Sumner County Sheriff's Office. I'm going to be out there a week, but I don't expect you guys to be out there a week. I would like you guys to come in if you can. I need everybody there on the 26th. The 26th is the 2-year milestone. That is the event. I'm going to be there all week because I'm angry. Okay, I'm going to be there all week advocating. I'm going to be there all week with my bullhorn, going through the details of this case. I'm going to be there all week on the top of every hour. I'm going to spend 5 minutes raising my voice to the sheriff. I'm not cussing him. I am going to condemn him. I'm going to condemn him respectfully. I'm going to go through the case. I'm going to go through other cases so he understands what it looks like to be a sheriff of a county and to be a sheriff of a very worldly case, okay? This is not your normal case. This is what you call a very high-profile case, and this sheriff is ill-equipped and unprofessional and incompetent to handle a high-profile case. He is ill-equipped. And we need him to get equipped. If he's too stupid not to know how to handle this case or how to communicate to his public, then I'm going to lead the way. I know that there's going to be a lot of eyes on me. I know there's going to be a lot of eyes on this situation. I know there's going to be a lot of eyes on this situation in the whole state of Tennessee. I expect some people's assistants to be watching the Bullhorn Betty channel to monitor the situation, and I don't care. We want as many people on that show as possible so they know what's going on in Sumner County. We will not stop until we have answers. Okay, I am an advocate for truth and transparency, and the one thing we do not have in Sumner County is truth or transparency. It's unacceptable. We will not accept it. We need people to stand up and do what's right for this young man and bring his ass home. His dad needs him home. And he's not coming home when sheriffs are corralled up in their office. And if my ass can be out there in that freaking cold telling them about themselves, their asses can be out of those chairs and out in those woods looking for Sebastian Rogers, or open it up and let the people do it. And quit restricting the people in your community. I will no longer accept my civil rights being violated. Not there, not anywhere. You do not know me. I am a political activist. I'm a victims' rights activist. And what has happened to me should never happen to anybody in this country again. Yet I see it over and over again. We are in 2025. And if the public officials out there don't realize we have a right to speak, we have a right to move freely, you have no business being in your position, damn it. None. This young man needs your help. He's not in your stinking offices. Get off your butt. If you don't want to get off your butt, then sign the stinking paper to allow the U.S. mover or to come in and help. Please. Please. And we froze up again. There we go. Sorry, I had to unfreeze. I don't know what's freezing the system. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you guys go. We've been on here quite a bit today. I want to thank you for all coming out. Please share this out. I will get this downloaded. I will try to cut out any kind of jerky spots that we have in here and then try to re-upload it so it's a nice smooth video that you guys can chop and get out there on your channels and stuff like that. All right, guys, rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe, but more importantly, kind to one another. And guys, I would like to remind you, we are working on a case called, what's the case called? Deanne Warner. And I think Deanne Warner has a lot of stuff that could really help in the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case. So anyways, guys, have a blessed evening, and we'll see you tomorrow morning, bright and early. Guys, 7 a.m. We're going live, 7 a.m. I need to be out of here by 9. Be there or be square.